whilst you're slow, whilst you've stopped, look back. Look back at your history. Look back at your patterns. Was there somewhere that you turned off a bit too quick that actually you could have kept going? Did you get bored? Did you get excited by the next thing? Alright. Hey, what are you saying? My name's RFM. Welcome to Life's a Bike, where I pedal with faith. This is a show for creatives, by creatives. I guess really just humans in general. Humans who are on a journey of carving out a meaningful, impacting, fulfilling, and most importantly, a freeing life. Now, I'm a cycling babe. I be cycling a lot. And I don't know, something about the bike and life, I see the parallels all the time. The bike is one of the most freeing modes of transport I've ever taken. I haven't surfed, I've been on a boat, but I've never steered the boat. But as just someone living in London, I literally just feel so free on a bike. And so it just made sense to, call it this. And hopefully, as time goes on, I can actually bring you guys out with me on the road. Right now my mic and my camera aren't talking to each other, which is fine. I'll sort that out. But for now, I thought, let's not be stumped. Let's keep the wheels turning. Let's keep pedaling, which is exactly what this episode is about. So, welcome to Life's a Bike, and I pedal with faith. So, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about keeping the wheels turning. How do you keep pedaling when everything about your terrain is just pamming you? You don't even know truly your North Star, or maybe you do, but it's like, how do I keep going? We're going back to basics. I think I might actually start this series off of just getting back on your bike and moving, because that's the season I'm in right now. Wait, Prince wants to say hi. Oh. Okay, my boy. Give me a support hug. Say hi, show them your face. Look at you. Oh my god. Alright, he's done. Thank you, Bubby. That's my little guy, man. Big up Princey. This year has been humbling, dog. I thought this year was gonna be that year that I took off in music. I had a whole plan and things were moving. I had shows booked. I had songs ready to go out. I had a surgery which kind of slowed the momentum down, and this was February, March. And then jobs I thought I was going to get, I didn't get. Grants I thought I was going to get, I didn't get them. And life was just... Turns out it was tough. Life was just tough for a sec. And I needed to figure out how to get them wheels pedaling. At one point, I didn't want them to. At one point, I was just ready to stop existing. I'll be so real. Can we be honest? A lot of this series is me talking to you, but I'm really talking to me. It's like a journal almost. Yeah, so it wasn't a fun time. But here we are now. I'm back with Life's a Bike, and I'm determined to get to 100 episodes on a new platform, which is YouTube. I want to take it so far. I have so many ideas for this, and for the community it grows. But how did I get here? How did I get back to the point where I could keep the pedals turning? Honestly, firstly, had to slow down. Completely slow down, as in stop. I had to stop doing everything I was doing. If we go back to Life's a Bike now, what does that look like if you're cycling? That could look like rocky terrain. It could look like a busy road. It could just look like something that's really hard to get through. You ever rode on rocky, almost gravel, mountainous type roads on a road bike? You feel everything. You feel every little nook and cranny. And sometimes you have to go extremely slow. You ever been riding uphill? I'm deep in it, bro. Look at that cloud, though. But I'm deep in it. All I've had today is Cocoa Pops. With cow's milk, bro. And I'm trying to climb a mountain with cow's milk. If you've ever rode, you've rode uphill, trust me. Unless you avoid it. But that's a whole nother story. But riding uphill, you have to go slow. I remember I went to Turkey I just effed off. But in the beginning of my it was the end of my burnout season, but the beginning of me realizing I had burnt out. This was like 2022, 2023 maybe, I can't remember. But I went to Turkey. I just effed off somewhere to the mountains, and so I lived on a mountain in an Airbnb, and then like everything else was like at the bottom, like where the stores were and everything. And so I would be pedaling up and down, and there was one point I was riding and I saw this guy just riding, and he rode up this mountain. He was older than me, way older than me, and he was just going, and in my head I'm chalking it down to like, oh, it's because he knows these roads, you know, like he's probably done this for years, which is probably true and probably helped. But then when I really studied him, he was going so slow. Like he was literally... As in, that's the pedals turning. He was going so slow because he understood that he can get up this with this bike. Whereas with myself, I'm just used to just riding. I was so London mindset at the time. I was just like, shoo, 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 shoo. As soon as I got to the hill, I'd go up it as fast as I could, get the momentum. Then it would kill me, and I'd have to just literally jump off the bike and then push it up. Like, I don't even know. I'm losing function in my brain. My legs, they're gonna benefit. That's the thing. I know this hike is only for my good at the end of the day, but I'm just tired. But I'm watching this guy and he's just slowly meandering up it. Slowly, but he's getting up. He's getting up. And so I tried it. And lo and behold, I got to the top of the mountain on the bike. I literally thought it was impossible to ride up this hill. I thought like, bro, at some point I'm gonna have to just jump off. I was looking at him like at some point he's gonna have to jump off this bike, and he made it. I said, oh, why? Because he slowed the down. He made it. Wow. They didn't want to see it. Truthfully, I never experienced it. My boy Isaiah, man, made a crazy EP. You need to slow down. It rings so true, because genuinely in this life, when life is pamming you and you don't know what to do, when the road is tough, the terrain is steep, the best thing you can do is slow down. Now, sometimes you might actually need to come to a complete stop. When life is actually just like, you genuinely are on the roughest terrain and you have no idea where to go. Your navigation is dead. There's no real sight of where you're gonna go. You have to stop sometimes. And that brings me to my next point. You gotta look back. Look back and check out the patterns in your history. Like, when was a really good time in your life? What was you doing? What was you up to? What was your belief systems? What were you convicted in? Look back and see what brought you joy before. Did you finish that? And then if we take this to the bike analogy again, right? Sometimes, yeah, you can be on a path, and that path is going on for time. It's going on for so long, you think, surely I should have turned off by now. Surely I should be doing something else by now. And you turn off. You see, oh, I wonder where that's going. And that way takes you somewhere else. And you end up far away from where you were ever meant to be. And so you have to stop and be like, damn, I'm looking ahead, but actually, was I meant to turn off 6 miles back? Was I meant to do that? What happens if I turn back and go back and then go straight? Because me, I'm not going to cap. This world will tell you, never go back, don't go back. I'm not opposed to going back if it helps you go forward. You know what I mean? Like with this podcast, I had it for a long time, but I think I turned off it too quick. I didn't give it a full go. And that has been a pattern in my life. Sometimes I do things just to do it, and I check it off like it's done. The longevity, the consistency had never been a skill that I'd had to build up for real. I don't know where that comes from. Maybe the schooling system. I don't know, somewhere in my past. But yeah, that was just never a thing. So it was just the mentality. I had to look at my patterns of thinking, my convictions, and then just be like, oh, shit. Maybe I can go back down this path and take a right and get back on where I was. Let's see where that goes. It wasn't finished. And that's where the end is. Or that's where the destination is. That's where the rest of the journey is. And then all of a sudden you start to feel a bit clearer. You start to hear the traffic. You know, there's a main road in sight, you know? Like, Man, so yeah, what does slowing down look like in real life? That can be just taking a break. Like, I'm not gonna lie, my account has been battered, and I think because my account has been battered, sometimes it makes you want to turn off. Oh god, you see how easy, you see the life sabbatical thing, man. I'm telling you, it's too many parallels. Like, because shit looks scary, it looks bleak, it looks lost. If you're just going down one path for so long and nothing's changing, it can feel like you're on the wrong path. So you turn off and think, oh, maybe that's the right way. Nothing's told you it is, but just because this path is looking a bit stagnant or a bit boring or whatever, you just... But sometimes if you just get to the end, there's the main road. That's where you're meant to be. That's the next chapter, you know? That's your next checkpoint. And for me, it was that, you know, I'd start something just to tick it off. And then if the account starts looking bleak, or I get excited by the next thing or the next thing, and I just turn off here and I just don't finish the path. So like, that's so important. And sometimes you do just have to stop. Sometimes you have to let life hit you. Sometimes you have to experience brokenness in ways you've never experienced it before. Talking from experience, because I've been there, and that's disgusting. It's really disgusting. I'm gonna be so real. Like, being broke in this life is nuts. Wouldn't recommend. But, and we'll talk about this more in another episode, but the mentality now I have towards money in general, that I have towards opportunities, that I have towards myself and my existence here has completely shifted because I had to go through that season. You know, now I know what I'm doing certain things for. You know, that's always a great thing. But yeah, I'm going to wrap this up. I don't want this to be too long at all. Third one, in fact, before I get to the third one, the point that I want to make is sometimes you have to stop, because when you're riding forward and looking backwards, you're due to crash. Sometimes that's what might be happening. You might have just been crashing. You might have just crashed right now because you're trying to figure out what went wrong. You're looking backwards, but you're also running ahead. Naturally, that's just not going to bang. So, yeah, I'd definitely recommend that second point, gem. And third, use what you have. Again, like, the navigation system's wrong, or it's completely left you. Your phone is dead. All you have is your sight and your senses and your beliefs. Pray, you know, God, what am I supposed to do? And sit in that stillness. Sit on this period for a sec and let life pour into you what it needs to tell you. Sometimes you'll be sitting so still that you can hear the traffic is actually in that direction, instead of, why is my hands not on screen? Oh. So like, yeah, you'll be, when you finally slow down, you don't have the chains in your ear, and you don't have of the wind, and then you can finally hear that the traffic's actually over there. I need to find a way to get over there. You know, like, and that's like with life. I literally just had to proper stop doing everything to figure out, oh, actually, I'm unfinished here. I still have music. I still want to do music like full time, but even that's a whole conversation. But I still have my loves and my gifts, and I am just a creative babe in general. I can do all things. I can do anything I want. But I had to rejig my thingy because life had pammed me, bro. I was out here feeling lost and defeated for a sec. But I can genuinely do all things. I had to tap back into the word. I had to, you know, rejig some things, some beliefs and convictions that I held about life. We'll get into that proper deep in the next episode, trust me. But longest story short, that all comes from just slowing down and letting life pour into you. You know, if you think about science, like titrations. Okay, I'm gonna go there. I wasn't gonna go there, but I'll go there. You know, like in titrations, right? When you're trying to make salt, so you have an alkali, I think it's an acid substance, and then you're pouring the alkali substance into the beaker. The beaker needs to be still. Everything needs to be still, because if you pour too much alkali into it, you're gonna get an alkaline substance. If it's too little, you're gonna get an acidic substance. But just the right amount, you're gonna get salt. And what does the Bible say about salt? Come on, man. Come on, tap in with me. You know, you are the salt of the earth. Don't lose your flavor because you're out here rushing. You're scared to sit still. You're scared to come offline for a bit. You're scared to miss out on the next function. Just take time. Don't give yourself an amount of time. Just allow time to be. And yeah, thirdly, use what you have. use your intuition, use your mind. The bike you have is the bike you have, and you can't just leave it here. You can if you want, but what are you gonna do? Like, you can't walk it, unfortunately. Life is a bike, so you can't just leave it unless you leave it, if you get what I'm saying. And we don't want to do that. Not around here. You know, we've been there. We've been to the point where we're like, oh, just leave the bike, walk off. I'll figure it out myself. But at some point, you got to come back and you got to pick up that bike and you got to keep the wheels moving. So yeah, to keep the wheels turning, even when the journey is perilous and insane, slow down or just come to a stop. Even better, let life pour into you. Let your senses reactivate. Use that time to really think about, where am I even riding to? What was my destination in the first place? What was my goals of the journey? Really rejig some things. Whilst you're slow, whilst you've stopped, look back. Look back at your history. Look back at your patterns. Was there somewhere that you turned off a bit too quick that actually you could have kept going? Did you get bored? Did you get excited by the next thing? You know? And then use what you have. Use what you have. You have everything you need to move on. You're a seed of you have seeds of greatness inside of you, and everything we need is in front of us. Is right here. Trust me. Trust me, dog. I didn't think it myself. I thought I needed this, and then I needed this camera, I needed that mic, and I needed this, and then I needed that grant. I have £2.98 in my account. I'll be so real. Like, that's full transparency right now, but I still genuinely have everything I need to talk and make this make sense. Because I have faith, I have belief and conviction that the season's passed. You know, I went through the worst of it, and now I know what to do. And you can get there too, but you just need to let life pour into you. Release control for a bit, you know, and life will give you control. Oh, that's a bar. Alright, man, I've been RFM. This is Life's a Bike, and thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. To keep the wheels turning, even when the journey is perilous and insane, slow down